Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What is good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo. Welcome back into the Blacktop. Now, if y'all didn't see my last video, I've been out of commission for like the last week because I didn't have a mic. It gave out halfway through recording my last video, so I finally got it in the mail. So here we are. So I know a lot of Hawks fans know the news out there, and y'all want to know my thoughts and my reactions. As we all know, John Collins has finally been traded after about 3-4 years of trade rumors. It's actually happening. Subscribe if you are new. Drop a like on the video. No more talking. Let's get right into it. Now, I know most Hawks fans out there are ecstatic about this move. You know, about John Collins getting traded. You know, the salary comes off the books. He has not been great like the last 2 seasons. My initial reaction when I saw the breaking news, it was bittersweet. I'll be honest with you. I love JC. Y'all know I've been a JC supporter since day one. If you've been around my channel long enough, I've always talked highly of JC. He's one of my favorite players. He was one of my favorite Hawks. So it is a little bit tough to see him go. It's going to be tough not seeing him in a Hawks uniform next season, but I get it. Look, man, at the end of the day, we all understand why this move was made. No, the Hawks did not get a good return. We all understand that. But this was a salary dump move. That's it. That's all this move was done for, was a salary dump move. And I'm going to talk about it from both perspectives, from the Hawks side and the Jazz side. Now, if some of y'all are not aware, under the new CBA, it's a lot harder for teams to have bigger contracts on the books without being in that threshold of the luxury tax. We were over the luxury tax going into next season, so getting off one of the big salaries, not named Trae Young, was a big priority for the Hawks front office. DeAndre Hunter was in trade rumors, during the draft. John Collins has been in trade rumors for 13,000 years. Clint Capella was in trade rumors. DeJounte Murray's been in trade rumors. Pretty much every single starting player, not named Trae Young, was in trade rumors to shed salary. Now, I would have much rather had Clint Capella get traded than John Collins, because we have a guy on the bench named Onyeka Okongwu who does essentially the same thing, if not better, than Clint Capella does. He's better on the offensive end. He's just as good on the defensive end. He's around the same size, not quite as good as a rebounder, but for the value, especially because he's going to be due for a contract extension, I would have much rather had us get rid of Clint Capella as opposed to John Collins. Now, with that being said, Clint Capella could still get moved, the rest of the offseason. There's still a chance that we see him getting moved, because this was a move that, kind of sets Atlanta up much better financially, right? Everybody knows where the Hawks were sitting in terms of the cap situation. It was bad. We were in cap hell before this trade. Now, that doesn't mean that the Hawks are in great position with the cap room going forward, because we still have contracts like Clint Capella, like DeAndre Hunter, who I think is a fair contract for Dre, and I think he's going to prove that this coming season, but I'm not going to get into all that. But this move gives Atlanta a lot more flexibility to maybe go make a mid-level exception signing. Maybe they buy out Rudy Gay. Maybe they flip Rudy Gay to a third team. We just don't know. Rudy Gay is not going to be... He's not going to play, number one, and if he does, it's going to be like an injury replacement. We now pretty much clear all the minutes at the power forward position for Saddiq Bey and Jalen Johnson. I expect Saddiq Bey to be the starter, Jalen Johnson to be the full-time backup, with DeAndre Hunter maybe getting some minutes at the four, kind of throughout the season, depending on if he is on the roster at the start of the next season. And I pray he is. I truly think it would be a disaster move if they trade DeAndre Hunter. I think his contract is really going to prove to be a value contract after this coming season. He's going into his 5th season, and under Quinn Snyder, I do expect DeAndre Hunter to take that leap. Again, I'm not going to go any more into it. I'm going to leave that at that. My biggest problem with this John Collins trade isn't with the organization. It's with the fan base. A lot of you guys are just slandering John Collins. And I get it, man. He has not been great the last 2 seasons. He has not been great really since his finger injury, after the 2021 playoffs. But people forget, man, what he did in that run that we had to the Eastern Conference Finals, man. JC was a huge part and was a huge reason why we were even able to go on that run. And without his play, we probably don't get there, man. So y'all gotta cut JC a little bit of slack, man. This dude's been in trade rumors for the past 3 seasons. It's hard for a guy to perform, when you're constantly in trade rumors. You have taken pretty much a back seat in terms of the pick and roll lob threat to Clint Capella, because as soon as we brought Clint Capella in, John Collins' production went down. His usage went down. Now, I know he's not a great shot creator. He can't really create his own shot. He's not great at handling the ball. He doesn't have good court vision and everything. But in the right system and being utilized the right way, I feel like John Collins can still be a productive player. And I think this is going to be a move where I think he's going to, well, at least I hope so. I really hope he revives his career in Utah. But from an organizational standpoint, I get it. Somebody had to go. JC was the least, valuable of everybody. That's why I'm kind of shocked that he got moved over Clint Capella. I would have much rather traded Clint Capella, as I stated earlier, because he has more value. You could probably get more assets in return. Keep JC for one more year, maybe rebuild his value after this coming season, and then maybe look to move him next season, and you maybe can get more in return while also dumping the salary. But again, I get it, man. It's a business. We had to dump someone's salary. I'm glad it wasn't Dre. I'm a big Dre fan. Y'all know that. I hope he is on the roster, going forward and going into next season. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of moves that Atlanta can still make throughout free agency to clear up space. Maybe Pascal Siakam is a guy that we have obviously been in rumors for that they're interested in. Maybe we bring him in. I don't think it will happen, but you never know, man. This is an entirely new front office. Landry Fields, the GM, has, been interested in shedding salary. You never know, man. We gotta wait and see what happens. Now let's look at this move from the Jazz perspective. Kind of a questionable one there. I don't know if I understand it. I do, but I don't. The Jazz are not really a team that's going to be contending or anything. I mean, maybe they can fight for a play-in spot there, but they don't have enough talent on the roster to be a solidified playoff team. But they also now kind of have a logjam at the 4 position, like Atlanta. They just drafted Taylor Hendricks, which I really like his game. I think he's going to be the power forward going forward for the Jazz. Maybe they bring him off the bench. I don't know if John Collins is going to come off the bench. I would assume with that contract that they're taking on, he's going to be the starter with Markkanen still at the 3 and Walker Kessler at the 5. But for the long term, I don't know really where I see this move for the Jazz. I mean, I get it. You have the salary cap room. You don't really give up anything in order to get it. Maybe you take a chance on him, see if he can maybe kind of reestablish his value, kind of revive his career, and then maybe they flip him, next offseason. You just never know. Kelly Olynyk, I don't know if they plan on bringing him back. So if you don't, now you have Taylor Hendricks and John Collins as your 4 position. That's not too bad. So I mean, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. The biggest story was Atlanta getting off the contract and getting under the luxury tax, significantly under the luxury tax. I think now that brings them $9 million under the luxury tax line, which gives you, again, room to operate in free agency, gives you a little bit room, some room to navigate through trades. Now you get that $25 million trade exception. So we have to wait and see what happens with the rest of the offseason with this roster and see what it's going to look like going forward. I do not anticipate that after the JC trade that Atlanta is done making moves. I do not think that this is going to be the team that we go into the next offseason going forward. The next season, this next season coming up. We just got to wait and see. I want to point out one thing before I get out of here. John Collins' professionalism and his leadership over these last couple seasons, just being the ultimate pro through all these trade rumors, just handling it like a professional should, it's something that doesn't get really pointed out, and I think it gets kind of taken for granted. I think the biggest thing that the Hawks are going to miss is his leadership in the locker room. He was the longest tenured Hawk. I think John Collins was truly the glue guy of this team, and I know some of you guys are going to dispute that and you don't want to admit it, but it's a fact, man. He's the hype man. He was the ultimate pro, the leader of this team in the locker room. It was a fan favorite in terms of being a likable guy and everything. Maybe not so much on the court the last 2 years, but John Collins, man, he's such a great guy. I don't know him personally, obviously, but just from what I see in terms of what players talk about and everything like that, it's really going to be missed in Atlanta's locker room. And I think that's going to be the biggest hit going forward for the Hawks with losing him. And the Jazz got a good one, man. The Jazz got a good one. I really hope that he can revive his career. He can find a home in Utah, and he can just get back to loving the game and playing basketball kind of free without having to worry about all the drama and all the trade rumors. Now he can kind of play free with really no expectations and get his value back up, maybe get back up to an 18-10 type of guy that we know he's capable of. And I'm really happy to see that he gets a fresh start. As much as I hate to see him go, I'm happy that he gets a fresh start. I know I'm going to be watching a lot of Jazz games next season because I want to see how he's going to do with them, how he's going to fit in and everything. And he's still one of my favorite players at the end of the day. So it's going to be tough watching him play for another team, but I'm happy for him at the end of the day. I'm gonna pretty much leave it there, man. Not really too much more to go into to do for this. We have to wait and see what else happens the rest of the offseason with this Hawks roster. Y'all leave your thoughts down in the comments. What did you think about overall this trade? Where do you see this team going forward? Drop a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.